Hi everyone, welcome to the patch notes rundown. This looks like a very large patch, but it's actually not. A lot of non-changes, so let's get right into it. Ari health growth down by 8, so she's losing like a ruby crystal max rank, or gaining one I should say. And AP ratio on Q up by 5%, doesn't do anything. Uh, yeah, I mean, how much AP are you getting? 200, 300, and the extra ruby crystal kind of whatever, so yeah. She's alright because she got a buff last patch as well. She's very playable, but there are definitely better champions to play. Aurelion Sol, he's losing 5% AP ratio on the Q, which isn't a big deal, and 5 flat damage, but it's per second, right? So that's fairly notable. Yeah, his problem is getting to the late game. Um, I mean, if you have a duo, you can reliably get to the late game, but other than that, still think there are better mid laners to play. Bard, but he's not bad. Bard, armor growth down by zero point 0.2, which doesn't do anything. Level 1 attack speed is up and the attack speed ratio is up, okay. Um, Passive damage plus 14 per chimes down to plus 10 per 5 chimes. Plus 10% AP ratio, so his base damage is sort of going down. And these level 1 things don't really matter. Um, and the Q has a higher AP ratio now, but the base damage is down. So they're nerfing his tank builds basically. I don't think you will suddenly start building AP because like he doesn't have enough abilities to skill off AP properly, if that makes sense. So this is just a big nerf. Um, His utility still makes him playable as support, but he's definitely being taken down a notch. Fiora attack speed slow on the W from 50% to 25%. Okay, this is good because um, Fiora could win fights just by proccing the attack speed slow. Um, and yeah, so she now requires more skill. She's good, she's still good, but like her problem is that she can win lane and then lose the game. She's the classical win lane lose game champion over in top. Um, and she's not very blind pickable either. Ilaoi. Um, so she's losing. Okay, the base damage is unchanged, but the total AD damage is down by 15%. It's okay. She's still gonna be good in the spots where you would pick her. It's a blind pick. She's not very good. Um, But since she gets a lot of total AD and her items now build AD as well, this is a sizable nerf, but it's nothing major. Jace, so AD up by 2. They changed the knockback, now it roots, similar to Lee Sin R. Um, I mean, this is actually a big nerf because the way it used to interact meant that it was really broken, and now it's like very reliable, so the enemy has like can like predict where he will land. And so on the W, the mana restore is up. This is the melee form W, which has like the electroshock thingy. The magic damage is up by 5. So if you're winning, uh, uh, then you're gonna be using this a lot. So this makes Jace better in like winning matchups, or if you're a good Jace, then this is actually a pretty big buff. Especially because you're also getting to AD level 1. So yeah, especially for top, if you have good matchup and if you're actually skilled, this is pretty good. But again, he's difficult to play, so might not be the best choice for everyone. Cassante. So yeah, these are a lot of changes, but what it boils down to is that it's a fat nerf because the Q no longer slows when you're in ultimate. So you can actually bait Cassante into using it, then run away, and if he doesn't use it, he will die. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is just a nerf. Uh, Guys, 500 H on alt. I mean, it's very noticeable. Kalista. So they're nerfing the rand damage on the active, but the per stack damage is unchanged. It's a very small nerf. He's not gonna be significantly changed much, but like in general, if you can play Draven, Draven is a better version of Kalista. That's pretty much it. Lulu. So her poke is up by the Q if you're skilled and you can land this, you're getting some nice extra damage in. And yeah, the 10% AP ratio is not gonna do anything, especially not for support. Does maybe for lane Lulu, it's actually pretty big. So these are mostly buffs to lane Lulu. Um, and you're getting like 50 extra shield and 50 extra magic damage, which is kind of whatever support. But Lulu's problem is mostly that you need a duo. That's pretty much it. Maokai still pretty good as support. The root duration nerf is negligible. 10 damage on, 5 damage lost on Q. I mean the biggest nerf to support Maokai is probably the base armor nerf. He's still playable as support. He's awful jungle. Not very good top either, in my opinion. He's okay support, I guess, but nothing special anymore after all these nerfs. Rek'Sai, so these are a lot of changes, but they're nerfing some of his AD ratios, so he's less of a nuke. But the biggest change is the burrow, because now the burrow knocks up all champions for 1 second, not just primary target. So this means that he will scale better as the game goes on, because you can actually flash knock up a whole team. And if you're tanky enough, you can also utilize the buff to the tunnels, because the tunnel reuse cooldown is down from 10 to 2 to 6 to 2. So it's easier to get in and out in fights earlier into the game. But he's more of a bruiser now, so there's that. He's also getting some movement speed buff early, so if you put points into W. Which is interesting if you're jungle. You might decide to max this second, and then you're faster, obviously. Yeah, but there's a lot of AD nerfs, so you're probably gonna be building Bruiser on him. Maybe Sundered Sky, something like that. Um, because this is a big AD ratio nerf, 175 to 100%. Renekton, he's getting 8 extra heal at max rank, so you're probably maxing this first. 2% bonus 80 extra. Okay, these are nice buffs. E cooldown is down by 2 seconds once max, so you might max this second. You're getting 50 extra HP, which is nice. Do I think Renekton is great? No, probably not even good, but I mean, into some champions he just auto wins lane. If his W counters the enemy champion's kit, so I'm thinking Riven. You just empower W the shield, and then, it's not playable for the Riven. And yeah, in those kind of situations, you can still pick him. He's pretty alright. Um, Smolder. So these are early lane nerfs. She's losing poke damage, so she's just scaling champion. I think a solo queue. You'd rather play something that can win lane early, because like this champion takes too long to scale up, kind of like a Rain Soul. Soraka passive 20% movement speed bonus doesn't really do anything. Q heal 10 extra, that's pretty big. And the ult is down by 10 seconds, which is nice. I mean the biggest buff still Q getting 10 heal on each Q is nice because it adds up over the course of laning phase. Um, but yeah, it doesn't really change the champion much. Thresh, she's getting free armor, and at max rank her flake gets 20 damage, and ult cooldown down by 20. Okay, this doesn't do anything. The ult still sucks. 20 damage on the flay doesn't do anything either. The armor is nice though, especially if you're into double AD bot, but these aren't enough to move her. Twisted Fate. So they're nerfing the AP, Twisted Fate, and like the attack speed growth does hit him slightly, but I still think the AD builds are insanely oppressive in lane, and this doesn't change it, and you're not building any AP in those lanes, so there's that. I mean, you might get a Doran's or Dark Seal, I'm not sure. Probably not, you're still going Doran's Blade ADTF, and if you don't pick up Darksteel, this really doesn't do anything for oppressiveness in lane, so he's still very good in lane. If you play him AD, base AD down by 2. This is very small, but since he autos a lot, it's slightly bigger than it would be for most champions, just because it gets a shit ton of bonus attack speed. But yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot. Volibear. So these are buffs to jungle, nerfs to top. So the E cooldown is down by 1. This buff should clear, because if you're in the jungle, you're casting this off cooldown. Bonus move speed on Q, you're getting 4% when you max it, so you might, and you're getting a 4% from level 1, so this is big for jungle. So the ultimate now, the disable duration on turrets is lower, but the cooldown's down, so you can spam it more. So yeah, this is a buff to jungle, because if you're jungle, you're just trying to use this for dives. And you can team fight without it pretty much. But for top, you want longer duration because you're using this for all hints if you're top. So yeah, Volibear top, garbage, jungle, he's somewhat playable now. And the crowd control immune to unstoppable is actually a nerf. Because now if you CC him and he lands, he's still CC'd, I think. So this feels bad actually. If they didn't add this change, he'd actually be good jungle. Now he's alright. But still not that great. Zyra's getting nerfed, so she's losing 4 damage on the plant. And a monster buff, but she's not good jungle. Black Cleaver. So you're getting 1% extra per stack, but the max stacks are down to 5. So all in all, this is a buff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, uh, uh, you're not building this item very often, and you're not going to start building it because of these buffs. Yeah, like a lot of bruisers just don't care about pen that much. Like the item it just isn't that great. When things like Sundered Sky or Shojin exist or Triforce. Hullbreaker, this is an interaction nerf with Urgot, so this is an Urgot nerf. Ravenous Hydra, the heal is slightly bigger, which is kind of whatever. Stripebaker, these bug fixes are actually buffs, so this item is very strong if you can build it. If you're a Garen, it's very good. For Nocturne, you might want to build the second because it doesn't have CDR. But maybe after a Hexblade you get Stripebaker second, it's a very strong item. Terminus, so it's now stacks faster, so this is just a big buff. So yeah, if your champion can use it, Bel'Veth, Varus, Kog'Maw, that sort of thing, then this is a big buff. Support item, so the changing how the quest works, I mean, it doesn't really change when you buy it or whatever. These are small nerfs. Actually, this one's getting buffed. I don't know, man. Support itemization is just go to u.gg, check what the best players do, and then copy that. And you're getting 5 haste on the last chapter items. Um, so lethal tempo is getting nerfed for melee champions early, which is huge, especially for top lane. Because a lot of champions that aren't very strong early, with this rune, they will just win every all-in, every extended trade. So that makes them really powerful, Yone in particular. So yeah, this is great to see. This is mostly Yone nerf, honestly. Yasuo somewhat as well, but mostly Yone. So that's good to see. Fountain now regenerates faster. This is a buff if you're losing, basically. That's pretty much it. Okay, well, let's recap. Doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything. Like, these are all very small nerfs. DF doesn't do anything. Yeah, I mean, this is a fat nothing patch, honestly. I don't see, like, the K'Sante thing is a nerf, the Rek'Sai thing is a buff, and Smolder is a nerf. So it says adjusted, but it's actually nerf, buff, nerf. That's pretty much it. Lots of very small nerfs, buffs, whatever. Okay, see you next patch. Bye.